As we dive into the topic, you begin to focus your attention on an important illusion in life. This illusion starts with the school system. It is propagated through celebrities and movies and popular culture. This is the illusion that people can be really great at many things. The topic is controversial and represents a major divide. The spiritual world is obsessed with the true self and things like being on your purpose. In the spiritual novel, The Alchemist, there's the line, "Life is generous to those who follow their path." Alternatively, the general population in the West, business, self-help, and academics are obsessed with diversity. You see TED Talks titled, "How to Learn Anything Fast," suggesting anyone can learn anything. The reality is some people may be okay at many things, but not good enough to be a professional in any way. For example, people such as George Bush who paint following the political career. Do you think he is actually painting at a professional level? How about Kanye West, who conquered the hip-hop world and has gone on to make shoes? It's impressive. His fashion style in the beginning of his career was horrendous. He later conformed to a mainstream style, not his own. Who knows, maybe you could use Kanye as a counter argument, right? A lot of it is hazy because people pay others to design in the background. Jay-Z, for example, had a successful clothing company, but didn't design the clothing. The second half of the illusion is that people may be good at several things, but they really are the same thing. There are many examples of this that I find particularly interesting. There are things like Donald Trump, who has been in real estate, television, politics, beauty pageant businesses, etc. However, in each instance, he was just on the marketing end of the business. There are other examples, P. Diddy, who was a backup dancer, musical artist, actor, lifestyle marketer, and music producer. However, in most cases, he was just piggybacking off of others. The only thing he actually was good at was producing music. Before we get into all of this, let's have you relax. Find yourself in the beginning of where life starts, the school system. The problem really is the school system tricks you into thinking you are good at many different subjects, right? In school, I got A's and B's in everything. I remember I was able to get a B in art when I couldn't imagine even drawing a clean circle. And I was able to get a B in history as well. I'm a conceptual person, not into dates and specifics. The reason why people are able to get well-rounded grades in school is because of memorization. Memorization is different than intuition. In school, they boil everything down to the part of your brain that doesn't really know the subject, it just knows how to get the answer. This is called the ego. You see this part of the brain a lot with salesmen, politicians, etc. As a part of their profession, they have to be able to communicate certain things without understanding it intuitively. In reality, all of your delusions in school fall apart for several reasons. One, when you get a job, you have to do it every day, repeatedly. This is unlike school, where you can take a subject and only study it a few hours a week. You will have to communicate with coworkers and share enthusiasm for the subject. Secondly, and the more important reason, is that you won't intuitively understand things. In school, most things are learned through text. In the private market, the world is 3D, and those who are intuitive will learn things much more quickly by actually living and breathing what they're doing in the whole industry and profession. Besides intuition, the main driver behind everything is personality. Teal Swan, a spiritual teacher, talks about it. All you can do is follow your personality and desires. You can have the highest IQ person in the world. If he or she is too goofy, then that person can't choose to be a doctor as a profession. That's how I would summarize the reality that is human life path. Intuition and personality are extremely important. The last thing I would really like to do is discuss some of my favorite people who feed into this whole idea that we can do many different things. These people either discuss being versatile themselves or they are paraded throughout popular culture. Let's start with Joe Rogan. You may know him. The guy was the host of Fear Factor. He has a podcast. He's a comedian, UFC commentator. One thing you'll notice is these are all the same thing. He makes money in all of these endeavors. However, they are all observational communication and commentation. You could call it his one talent. He does other things like bow hunting, television shows, training MMA, etc. However, you'll notice no one has ever paid him to actually fight. They pay him to commentate. He has never had a successful show where he has hunted or anything. He was featured on the show Meat Eater. However, he didn't provide any real hunting advice himself and was merely featured as comic relief. You'll notice this with a lot of creative, imaginative, and ADD types, where they do a million things, but most of the things are just distractions from their actual talent. Another person I find interesting is someone like LeBron James. He ironically is known for the phrase, more than just an athlete. He is part of a lot of delusional celebrities who hate being told they can't do multiple things, right? You see people like Lil Wayne on SportsCenter, Jimmy Kimmel talking politics, and Ashton Kutcher trying to be a high finance venture capitalist on Shark Tank. But I digress. LeBron James is great at basketball and was a talented high school football player. He dances at concerts, has many cameos in advertisements and movies, and invests with business partners. You can find him on YouTube discussing business with Warren Buffett, and you can find him on Twitter calling out Laura Ingraham in the political realm. So this is a lot to break down, but let's go through it. 1, his businesses and investments are done through his business partners. They are good at business, he isn't. Secondly, the Laura Ingraham situation, she invited him to go one-on-one in a debate on politics, and he never responded. Third, the cameos and movies he has done are all of him playing himself. For this reason, you can't call him an actor because he's only playing himself, right? So what is left? The only thing left besides the shoe deal, which involves no effort, is basketball and football. My case is closed. You can really do this with a lot of people. You can look at someone like Elon Musk, who is incredible at entrepreneurship and actually draws a lot of attention on Twitter. However, I don't think he could stand alone as a Twitter personality. I do give Elon Musk credit for making the jump from bits to atoms, starting businesses in technology, then automobiles and spaceships. Very impressive mind indeed. Two of his peers in Silicon Valley I find fascinating. Peter Thiel and Chris Sacca prove my theory 1000%. Let me walk you through how similar their stories are and how predictable the results. Get this, both of these two people started off as math prodigies as kids. They both have huge egos, went to elite schools and got law degrees. They went to law school instead of a math-focused degree to prove that being high IQ means you can do anything. After law school, neither were even close to being competent lawyers, and both went on to Silicon Valley to use math skills to become billionaire investors. Proving my point exactly. They could BS their way through school, but ultimately settled into their true nature. So it is intuition and personality. People sometimes will say someone like Michelle Obama could be a presidential candidate. However, her personality doesn't follow. As the first lady, she chose school lunches as her cause. So she is not interested in the right subjects and isn't as dynamic as people think. In general, you can really look at any individual and it comes in many forms. They are really limited by personality and intuition and cannot be good at many things. Nonetheless, I do think people evolve into higher selves. Tom Brady, for example, will go on after football and educate the world about preventative health and athletic maintenance, which is phenomenal. It is an extension of what made him great. Do people evolve? Yes. Can you be every animal in the jungle at once? No. I remind myself all the time, Michael Jackson was smart, but wouldn't have been an accountant. So I'd love for you guys to tell me what you think. Drop some names if you like. Argue and say which side you lean. I really believe the whole concept of being as dynamic as they have you believe in school is really just an illusion.